We are ready to move on to the next page in our garden journal, and all I did here was adhere one of our journaling pages to this side. This is where your friend or you can take notes on the plants that you've put in and write reviews. And then on this side, we are going to ink the envelope a little bit, and we are going to be using our Cuttlebug again in order to cut out a stencil, and we're going to be using some of our new alcohol ink pens. So that's next. So we're going to start our work on the second interior page. I've adhered my journal page here for taking notes, and there's a couple different things that you can do here. So we are going to create a stencil, and actually this interior page will match these cute little tags. We've created a couple of different things. You can create a stencil and use your alcohol ink and spell out the name of the vegetable. So you would take these out of your book and mark the rows in your garden. Or this is what we use the Cricut cartridge for. We created a tomato on this one, and you could mark, because tomato obviously is a very long word to fit on this little tag. So we created a picture and did a stencil of a tomato. So I'll be showing you how to do each of those things. But for this one, I think maybe we'll just stencil the tomato on this little flap here. And I have cut out, by using my Cricut, a couple of different little stencils here. And one is a pumpkin, but actually we're only going to be using the outline, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to cut around this. And as you can see on my cutting mat here, I've also cut out a pea, and I've also cut out some corn. So I'm not going to demonstrate all those today, but we did create those stencils using the different cartridges. And I'm going to be using cranberry for the body of the tomato, and then lettuce for the top. And I'm going to be using the fatter end. So I'm just going to position where I want my tomato to be. And I'm going to just paint around. And color in my tomato. But I also want to be careful, because as you can see on my tag here, the green comes down into the body of the tomato. So I'm going to use my actual palm tree cutout in order to work around that little edge there. So I'm going to put my palm tree down, and I'm going to draw around the leaves, the stem. Then I will be using my palm tree to make the rest of the tomato. So that's where my tomato is. And then I would adhere this tag inside here, so that when my friend receives her garden journal, or his garden journal, he can pull that out of there and tie it to the stake that's at the end of the row. So now if you wanted to do the word route, and I'll show you that on this page, here is my little tag that we've created that says beans. And in order to create these letters, I've used our Cuttlebug, and I'll show you that in just one second. But then I would also stencil the word beans here so it matches. So again, my little scrap pieces of paper that I don't really need, I don't need a full sheet of paper for. That's what's so cool about these, using the Cuttlebug for this kind of thing. And I'm going to be using the Hippie Chick font. So I need an N and an S. So I've got my letters to spell beans all cut out. I'm going to be using the N here, and I'm going to be using it as a stencil. The only thing you have to be careful of when you're doing this are letters like an E, where you're going to be needing this tiny little piece that's in the center of the E. So I want to make sure that I keep hold of that while I'm working. And I'm going to use the color lettuce again, and the fat tip of my alcohol ink pen, and I'm just going to color in the middle of the letters. So we are done with our bean stencil. It matches our little tag, which is perfect. And if you wanted to, you could certainly grab your ink tool and work it around the edges a little bit. And just kind of dirty up your envelopes. They're probably going to get dirty anyway, any gardener that I know. So we're done with that step, and the last step that we have is just to tie the ribbon on the binding, and we'll be all done. So I'll be showing you that next.